I'm going to shoot a little video here of me building this tire rack. It might not turn out to be a little video, and the video is not going to be about as much about building the tire rack or that you would ever need to build something like this. It's going to be more about techniques that are used, material that is used, stuff like that. Problems that I had building it, and problems that you might have in a different type of a project that you have, in possible ways of solving those problems. One of the problems that I had with this rack was a weight issue. These tires are pretty heavy. There's only one on the rack right now, but there's going to be two, and they weigh around 1,000 to 1,200 pounds apiece. So you're going to see some issues that I had in ways that I corrected it, and the video is going to be more about issues with building things than it is per se with the build itself, or that you would ever need a tire rack like this. But here we go. Going to shoot a video here. I've got to build a rack for the 1066 rear wheels. They're really heavy, and what I want to do is make like a pallet rack that I can, when I take the tires off, I can hoist them up, put them onto the pallet rack, and then move them around with a pallet jack or a forklift truck. So what I'm doing is building a frame, and I've got it laid out here on the welding table. I'm going to build a frame that the pallet jack or the forks of the tow motor will fit under with the tires on it. And then I have this old rack, and yeah, let's call it a rack. I think it's off the back of a tow motor, the forks of a tow motor. I've had this thing laying around. I got it, I bought some steel off of a guy, and he just threw that in so that I could use it for scrap or cut it up or whatever I wanted to, part of the deal. But what I'm going to do is use that for the frame so that the tires set up against the back of it. So what I'll do is I will weld that onto this across here, standing upright, and then I can set the tires down onto it. Pick it up with a pallet jack or the tow motor, and just move it around and put it in the shop. And again, the reason why I'm doing this is because these wheels are extremely heavy. I think they're loaded wheels, or loaded tires to begin with, and I'm guessing the weight on them is somewhere around 1,200 pounds apiece. So what I'll do is I'll bring you back. I've kind of I cut the angle iron and cut a couple of strips here. I've got it clamped. I actually tack welded this back piece on, but again, I've just got it clamped using 1/4 inch by 3 inch flat bar. I'm going to use that as the runners going across. This one is going to be where the rack is welded up. I'll probably put some angle gussets up just to help support it from this thing. Probably put some gussets underneath it too to help support it. Just don't want to get them in the way of the forks of the pallet jack or the forklift. So I'll bring you back when I start welding out here. Here again, I'm not really sure what I'm shooting with a GoPro. Love the GoPro camera, but the problem with it is that you really, until you download it, you can't really tell what the hell you've shot. Not a great angle on this. Back, I'll probably set this down on the floor and weld it out the rest of the way. The problem I'm having right here is that the hood, I'm trying to look down through the bottom of the hood and it's not really working. I'm getting blinded by the bottom of the hood. Let me find something to stand on so that I can get up higher on it. Get a better angle looking down at it. Got gobs of weld all over the place here. Maybe this will work, maybe it won't. Yeah, it did. Probably can't see. There you go. Okay, so I sanded up on there. I just want to clean this edges up a little bit. I've got to kind of figure out a way of standing it while I tack it. When I mean standing it, it wants to tip one way or the other, so I got to get a little brace in there just to kind of help support it while I tack it. Actually might stand a little better. There was a little weld bead on the bottom of it, so it might have been kind of pivoting on that. But let me grind the other side. I'm going to flip it over. I'll bring it back. Yeah, it does stand up. Probably gonna tack it. I'll bring you back. Okay, so I tack welded it on there. Now I'm gonna try and weld it out. You know, something I always wanted to try was anti-splatter stuff where you can stick the nozzle of the MIG welder into it and supposed to prevent buildup on the nozzle. That was a shitty looking weld. Bring it back. Here's what I did. Gonna put two cross supports in there in between. So what I did is just pretty easy to figure out where those two cross supports would be evenly spaced. I measured from the inside of this one to the inside of that one, had 39 inches, and you would just divide that by 3 because you're having you're thirding this thing. And that came out to 13 inches. I just laid out the 13 inches off of the thing, went back and put a 3-inch mark for the outside of it because I'm covering up the center line mark with the pieces, but that's how you would do it. I mean, if you want what I've done here is I've got this little bar stock that was laying around, and what I'm going to do is kind of create an angle brace on both sides, just to give it a little more stability when the tires are up on this rack, leaning back against this. it kind of gives it stability. Um, I really don't think it's going to go anywhere the way it's welded up, but on the bottom. But just just to be kind of safe, I'm going to do that. Hopefully you'll be able to see this and I won't block you out. That should be it. I'll bring you back and go over it. So I told you that I thought I was done when I left off last, but I changed my mind. What I'm going to do is I've got some scrap 1-inch pipe that I've got laying around the shop. I'm going to put 2 of these down the center so the bottom of the tire kind of cradles between the 2 of them. It'll serve 2 purposes. It'll keep it from, it'll add stiffness to the cross members, and it will kind of hold the tire centered in place. You know, you would think it's going to keep the tire from falling down between the slots, but the tire actually won't fit between the slots. So mainly it's going to hold the tire centered in onto the rack, the bottom of it centered onto the rack, and add stiffness to the plates. So I'm going to do that. I've got the 1-piece cut. I'm just going to I'm not going to run full beads across all of them in case I wanted to ever take it off for some reason. It would be easier to grind off, and it really doesn't need full beads all the way across as long as they're welded fairly substantially across each one of them to kind of again create rigidity, you know, spread the load over all 4 of those cross supports. So I'll bring you back when I'm getting ready to weld them on. Here we go with the first one. I'm just going to tack it in place. I'll probably shut the camera off, move the clamps over, clamp the second one in place, tack that, and then I'll weld it out after I get them both tacked down. I'll bring you back. Okay, I should be ready to weld them out now. Really, you think that should be good enough? Got tacks on the inside, but the force will be out. Got welds on the outside, so it should be good. Okay, so here is that tire rack, and what happened is I took it over and put one of the tires on it. I've only got one tire wheel assembly off of it. Anyways, I put it onto the rack and it kind of bowed the center down. So what I'm going to do is, it's sitting up on its side right now. I'm going to put a little leg on the in the center of this cross strut and this cross strut, which will keep it from bending. Now, when it bowed, I only had the one tire in the back, but it seemed to be bowing mainly the front. I think the upright support in the back is kind of keeping the back rigid. So one support, one little leg pad in the front, and one leg pad here in the middle should be more than sufficient for it. What I'm going to do is I've cut a piece of scrap channel iron that I had laying around. I'm going to cut two of them. I cut a little piece of metal. What I'm going to do is just use that like as a pad for the bottom of it, so that it kind of sits better onto the floor. And if I'm trying to push it around, I've been pushing it around just without the tire on it, wheel assembly on it, but I've been pushing it around. It'll make it easier to push or slide on the floor with the little pad on the bottom of it than it would just a piece of bare channel onto the floor. So I'll bring you back when I start welding it up. Helps if you ground it. Payback. Okay, I've got to cut the other ones. Okay, that should do it, so I'll bring you back when I get it loaded. Figure I shoot just a short one here, just to show you it sitting up on those legs. I kind of wished when I had the tire on it originally before I put those little feet on that I had taken a video of it, but I didn't. But the back was fine where the tire was sitting, but the front was sloped down. Not a lot, but then again, I only had one tire on it. So these feet should take care of that issue. So anyways, there it is. I'll bring you back. Okay, so here it is. The tire is up on the tire rack. Only one tire, but it fits fine, works fine. I just got to get a forklift over here or a pallet jack and get it moved out of there. Then I'll pull off the other tire and get it mounted or put onto the rack too, so that I can have them out of the way while I'm working on the tractor. But anyways, that's it. On to the next project.